Hey everybody. We are kicking off the first kind of official episode for the DIY wand course. I know there was the intro video and then the where you can find some free wood, which I do want to add to that real quick. I did see a video from someone, I wish I remembered where I saw it, it was a while ago, where they talked about contacting lumber places that provide lumber, where sometimes they have offcuts. So if you live in an area where there's a lumber mill and they cut hardwood, you can call or go by and see if they have kind of a discard pile of just scrap wood that they're not going to use. So in this course, we're going to be taking a look at wands as it pertains to the Harry Potter franchise aesthetic. And I'm going to be breaking down the anatomy of a wand, the different kind of sections. I will be using similar terminology as a fellow wand maker, Kai Vox Ender. I do want to give him credit because I will be borrowing some of his naming conventions. He was the first person that I saw that used these particular naming conventions with regard to wands. Prior to him, I had heard people talk about it as like the shaft and the handle. So shout out to Kai Vox. As the episodes continue, I'm sure I'm going to be kind of diverging away from some of the things that he has said to show you all some new stuff and just my approach to things. So let's get going. So it occurred to me when I went to go get a wand for an example of breaking down the different parts of a wand that I didn't exactly have a whole bunch that fit neatly into showcasing some of the dimensions or just the different parts. So I have this early turned poplar dowel wand when I was just kind of playing with my lathe and getting used to it. But essentially, and again, I know that I'm like blowing Kai Vox up, but I want to try and give credit where credit's due. I did not originate or come up with the naming conventions of this on my own. So he likens it, a wand, to in the wizarding world as a sword or dagger or gun, but that a sword is a better comparison or like a dagger. So essentially, if you're at all familiar with swords and the kind of like the way that they're broken down, there is the pommel, which is the back end of the sword, the handle, the guard, and then the blade. And with regard to, I don't know for swords, but with regard to the wand, there is, as far as like an overall pretty even kind of balanced look to it, there's like a 40-60 ratio. So it's about 40% of the overall length from tip to end is about 40% pommel handle guard, and then about 60% is blade. Now again, when we get into the designing portion of the course, it's going to be helpful to keep some of these things in mind. It's always better to design from a position of knowledge and choice than just kind of randomly trying things. So there's always exceptions to the rules, and we'll get into that also. But as far as just kind of a baseline, traditional, conventional type of a wand, pommel, handle, guard, blade, 40-60 ratio, and that will be a good starting point. Another one that I could use from the Harry Potter franchise, Professor Slughorn's wand. It may not be exact to the 40-60, but it's pretty close. He looks like he's got a pretty long blade on his. But again, there is the pommel portion right here, the handle portion, the guard, and the blade. Another thing to keep in mind is that within the Harry Potter universe, most wands average from anywhere between total length, anywhere from 9 inches to 14, 16 inches. On the 16 inches, I think, is some of the longest wands that are out there. But overall length, you're looking at about 9 to 14, 16 inches. Staying within those lengths will give you something that just kind of aesthetically looks better. Any longer than that, you get into like a short staff. Not a short staff, maybe for like a little tiny creature, but or character. But staying within those is a pretty good starting point. Pretty good place to be. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, so another thing is I measured my hand. I'm 6 foot tall. I don't know if I have a particularly large hands for my height. I don't know, but I believe from one side of my hand to the other is approximately 3.5, 4 inches. And yeah, so as far as if you are sketching this out on some sort of a graph paper, or if you're doing this in a software like Photoshop or something like that, where you have the measurement lines, you can measure out there. Once we get to the sketching phase and whatnot, you can kind of estimate where your hand placement will be within your design once you take it into some of those programs. So you'll know when you print it out and you put it onto your wood that that your sketch, when it comes to translating it, isn't the handle's not going to be some shorty weird little thing. It's not going to throw you off. So good things to keep in mind if you're doing something that is more of a traditional or conventional type of a layout as far as the ratios or the different portions of the wand is concerned. I default to, if I'm going to be making one with a handle, to trying to keep it within about 4-inch kind of realm. All right, I think that concludes this part. Next video, we'll be moving on to examining some of the different types of wands, conventional, traditional, unconventional, and what would be considered not exactly abstract, I guess, but feature heavy specific. So stay tuned. Let me know if you found any kind of value out of this. If not, or whether you leave a comment or not, that's fine. Give the video a like. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. Hit the little bell icon so you get notifications on future videos. And lock this little tidbit of information away in your mind for as we move on through the course and we get into the design and sketching phases and stuff like that. You can take this information as well as the next few videos and take all that information and hopefully put it into your sketch and come up with the wand that you're going to make. Thanks for watching.